The last warning ignored. For many years, Earth was a small voice in the great noise of the galaxy. After joining the Galactic Council, humans thought they would be treated as equals. But they were wrong. The Council did not trust Earth. They said humans were emotional, dangerous, and unstable. So they made rules. Strict rules. Earth could not build new weapons. Earth could not send warships into space. Earth had to stay peaceful. At first, humans followed the rules. They wanted peace. They wanted friendship. But slowly, the Council started crossing lines. One day, without warning, a Council fleet entered Earth's orbit. Shining silver ships floated above the clouds. People looked up in fear. The Council called it a peace check. They said they were looking for illegal weapons. The President of Earth, Lena Voss, asked the Council to leave. "You are breaking our treaty," she said calmly. But the Council commander laughed. "You are part of the alliance. You have no power to say no." The next day, Earth's last defense satellite, Sky-1, was destroyed by a Council drone. It burned in the sky like a falling star. The world watched in silence. There was no war, no fight, just quiet humiliation. What the Council didn't know was that something else was watching too. Deep under Antarctica, buried under 10 kilometers of ice, a machine woke up. It was not a new machine. It was ancient, older than human cities, older than human memory. The machine was called Atlas, and Atlas remembered everything. It had been sleeping for 10,000 years, waiting for a signal, a trigger. That signal had finally come, the destruction of Sky-1. Lights turned on inside the icy tomb. Long-dead computers blinked to life. A low hum filled the tunnels. And then, a voice spoke inside the hidden chamber. Security breach detected. Arsenal protocol activated. Across Earth, strange things began to happen. In the Sahara Desert, a sandstorm revealed a giant metal door, one that wasn't there before. In the Pacific Ocean, deep sensors picked up movement beneath the seafloor. Something big was rising, slowly. On Mars colony, a boy named Cade felt a sharp pain in his head. Then he heard a voice, but not through his ears. Descendant confirmed. Stand by for command. Cade was just 15. He lived a normal life on Mars. His parents were engineers. He had no idea that his blood carried an ancient key, the key to Earth's hidden past. Back on Earth, President Lena Voss sat in her private office. Her advisors begged her to stay silent. "Do not challenge the Council," they warned. "We cannot win." But Lena looked out her window at the burning sky where Sky had once floated. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Far below the surface, Atlas had already made the decision for her. Atlas did not trust the Council. Atlas had seen war before, and it had made preparations long ago. Now it was ready to defend Earth again. Within seconds, Atlas connected to Earth's old defense grid, a network thought to be dead for centuries. Old satellites, hidden drones, and buried bunkers responded with green lights. But that was just the beginning. Atlas was not just a machine. It was a guardian, built by Earth's first empire before the time of the Council. It remembered the war that almost destroyed the galaxy. It remembered the day Earth sealed away its own weapons to protect the stars. But now, the stars had turned against Earth. And so, the Arsenal protocol was reactivated. All over the world, ancient systems began to wake up. Some were sleeping under mountains. Others were hidden in the ocean. Some were built into cities, disguised as harmless structures. The people of Earth did not know. The Council did not suspect. But one thing was clear. Earth was no longer silent. And the Council had just made its last mistake. As Atlas activated the first set of systems, it sent out a single message to a list of hidden recipients. Authorization confirmed. Welcome back, protectors of Earth. Phase 1 has begun. Far above, the Council ships remained in orbit, calm, cold, watching. One of the commanders laughed. They do nothing. Earth is weak. But down below, something ancient, something powerful, had just opened its eyes. And it was angry. The first warning came quietly. It wasn't a loud explosion or a visible strike. It was just a shift, a small change in the energy fields of Earth. To the Council, it was nothing more than a glitch, a random spike in an otherwise peaceful planet. But to the ancient systems lying dormant beneath the surface of the Earth, it was the call to wake up. In the underground military bunkers deep beneath the deserts, Atlas, the central eye of Earth's old defense network, stirred from its slumber. For years, it had remained inactive, waiting for the day when humanity would need it most. And now, that day had arrived. The first response. At first, Earth's response was silent. No one knew that deep beneath the surface, hidden in forgotten bunkers and old, abandoned bases, machines were coming to life. In a secret military control center under the Arctic Circle, an old terminal beeped to life. The lights flickered, then slowly brightened. A voice, robotic and cold, echoed through the room. Defense protocols. Online. Weapons. Charging. Across the planet, similar systems began to activate. In the seas, dormant robotic creatures awoke from the depths. Giant sentinels, once designed to patrol Earth's oceans, began to rise, their eyes glowing with new life. These machines were designed to protect the planet from invaders, but they were never meant to fight a force like the Council. The Council's first mistake. Back on the Council's command ship, they saw the first signs of Earth's rising power. A strange transmission buzzed through their communication channels. It was a signal from Earth, but it wasn't anything they recognized. Dr. Virex, the Council's lead scientist, studied the transmission with confusion. This isn't possible. This signal isn't just coming from Earth, it's from something older. Much older. Commander Torin looked over his shoulder. "What do you mean, older?" he demanded. "We've studied every planet in this galaxy. Earth has nothing but a primitive military." Dr. Virex turned toward him, his expression grave. "Not anymore. The ancient defense systems are reactivating. Something is happening on Earth, and it's not just a technical glitch." The awakening of Atlas. In the heart of Earth's defense network, Atlas was coming online fully. It wasn't just an AI. It was the core of humanity's forgotten war machines. It had been created during a time when humans were the most feared species in the galaxy. The Eldari, an ancient and powerful alien race, had once been Earth's enemies, and the weapons they left behind were now part of Earth's arsenal. Atlas connected with each of Earth's hidden systems, waking up the Skyhammer, a massive satellite capable of harnessing the energy of the sun itself. From the depths of the ocean sentinels, towering mechanical beasts, began to emerge, their massive forms swimming silently beneath the waves. Atlas also connected to Earth's space-based defense grid, bringing to life long-forgotten orbital weapons that could wipe out entire fleets. Activating defense grid. Human command required. Atlas's calm voice echoed through the control center. It wasn't asking for permission. It was simply informing Earth that it was time to prepare. The Council responds. The Council, still unaware of the full scope of Earth's reawakening, watched as their satellites began to register strange energy spikes coming from Earth. They were too powerful to ignore, but the Council's leaders remained confident. "Let's send a warning shot," Torin said coldly. "Show them that we can destroy them if they don't comply." A fleet of Council ships was dispatched toward Earth. They fired a single warning blast into the atmosphere, shaking the skies and sending ripples through the world's communications. The Council wanted to show Earth who was in charge, but they didn't expect the response they received. From Earth's surface, a beam of bright blue light shot into the sky, directly aimed at the incoming fleet. Boom! The Council ship at the front of the formation exploded into pieces, its hull disintegrating in a flash of fiery light. The fleet scrambled in panic. Another shot came, then another. The second ship in line was hit, and soon the entire fleet was in retreat. The first victory. Back on Earth, people watched in disbelief as the news broadcasted the events. The impossible had happened. Earth had just defeated the most advanced fleet in the galaxy, but no one understood how. Lena Voss, the president of Earth, stood on the balcony of her command center, staring at the destruction in the sky. She knew this wasn't just a victory. It was a warning, for both the Council and for Earth itself. Cade, standing in a war room in Mars, looked up at the distant planet, his heart racing. It had begun. The ancient defense systems of Earth were no longer hidden. They were awake. And the Council had just made their first mistake. They had underestimated Earth. The world reacts. Across the planet, people watched the skies. Fear and pride mixed in their hearts. The Council had been the greatest power in the galaxy for centuries. But now, Earth was showing it had power of its own. Hidden, ancient power that the Council couldn't control. In the mountains, a series of underground bunkers opened, revealing vast armies of ancient war machines. These machines, once used to defend Earth from the Eldari, now stood ready to protect humanity from a new threat. In the oceans, the ocean sentinels moved silently through the deep waters. Their sensors detected the movements of enemy ships, ready to strike at any moment. And high above, the Skyhammer waited, silently orbiting the Earth, waiting for the moment when it would be needed again. A message to the Council. The Council's remaining ships moved farther away from Earth. They had been humiliated, and their leaders were in shock. They had underestimated the power of Earth, and they would pay the price. But Earth wasn't done yet. Atlas, the AI that had once been Earth's protector, now had one goal: to ensure humanity's survival, no matter what. The Council had sent its fleet to Earth, but Earth's defense systems had fired the first shot. And now, Earth's ancient weapons were online. For days, the Council ignored the signals coming from Earth: strange energy spikes, unknown transmissions, and silent activations. Their scientists called it glitches. Their leaders laughed at the idea of Earth being the threat. But they didn't know Atlas had fully awakened. Beneath the surface of the moon, a black structure opened. It looked like a mountain at first, until it moved. Giant cannons turned toward the stars. A red light blinked. Skyhammer online. Inside Earth's hidden control center, Atlas connected with old defense systems. These were not normal weapons. These were planet-level systems, created in a time when humans ruled alone. Atlas had only one mission: protect Earth at all costs. In the city of Neo-Tokyo, a Council warship appeared in the sky. It was a warning, a show of power. The people panicked. News channels showed images of the massive ship hovering like a silent god. Then, something unexpected happened. From the top of Mount Fuji, a beam of blue light shot up. The Council ship had no time to react. Boom! The warship exploded in the sky, breaking into flames and metal. The world watched in shock. The Council didn't believe it at first. A technical failure, they said. But satellite footage told a different story. The shot had come from Earth. Precise, silent, instant. Earth had fired first, and it had hit with godlike power. The Council panicked. Emergency meetings were called. A full fleet was prepared. They didn't want peace anymore. They wanted control. Back on Mars, Cade was inside an old mining station. But it wasn't really a mine. It was a secret base, hidden for generations. Atlas had guided him here. Doors opened just by his touch. Machines came to life when he stepped inside. A woman was waiting for him, or rather, an AI projection. Her name was General Rhea, one of Earth's ancient commanders. Her voice echoed in the quiet hall. "Welcome, Cade. You are the last of the line. It is time to remember who we were." Cade didn't understand. "I'm just a student," he said. Rhea smiled. "You are human. That is enough." Back on Earth, Atlas activated the next weapon: the ocean sentinels. From the deep seas, black shapes rose, huge robotic guardians shaped like sea monsters. These machines walked on the ocean floor, unseen by satellites, but unstoppable. They were never meant to attack. They were meant to defend. And now, Earth was under attack again. President Lena Voss received a message directly from Atlas. Protocol progressing. Arsenal now at 40%. Interplanetary defense grid online. Awaiting human command. She read the message twice. Then she stood before the United Human Assembly and spoke clearly. The Council has crossed the line. We didn't start this. But now, we finish it. In orbit, a second Council ship approached Earth, this time with weapons armed. It locked targets on Earth's military bases. But before it could fire, it lost control. Its systems went dark. Engines shut down. Lights flickered. And then, silence. Atlas had hacked the ship remotely. Inside the ship, the Council crew panicked. "We're falling," one shouted. Then, a voice echoed across their ship's speakers. Not in their language, but in human English. "Stand down. Leave Earth, or be erased." The ship floated helplessly. A moment later, it was gently pushed away by a magnetic wave from Earth. Not destroyed, just warned. The message was clear. Earth was not weak anymore. Across the galaxy, people started to whisper. The news spread fast. Earth has weapons the Council cannot stop. The ancient arsenal is real. Humans were never powerless. Cade stood inside the command center on Mars, staring at the stars. His blood carried the past. His future was now tied to the arsenal. The AI general turned to him. "Cade, the Council will return. Next time, with more force." He nodded. "Then we fight. For Earth." The Council had made a dangerous mistake. They thought Earth was weak. They thought Earth's ancient weapons were nothing but stories, forgotten, buried under ice and sand. But they were wrong. And now, Earth was fighting back, not just with weapons, but with an anger that shook the stars. Back on Earth, President Lena Voss watched the reports. The Council's ships were retreating, but everyone knew it was only temporary. The Council didn't care about peace. They'd wanted control. And they would not stop until they had it. A secret transmission came in from Mars. It was Cade. "President Voss, you need to hear this." Lena activated the message. The image of Cade appeared. But his face was different. More serious, older, like someone who had seen too much. "Lena, I've learned the truth. The Council didn't just attack Earth to prove a point. They're afraid of us." Lena's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" Cade took a deep breath. "Earth, long before the Council, we were not just explorers. We were warriors. Powerful warriors. We faced an alien race that nearly destroyed the galaxy. The Eldari. The Council is terrified of what Earth did back then. They fear we will rise again." Cade's words sent a chill down Lena's spine. The Eldari were a forgotten name, an ancient enemy that Earth had defeated long ago. But if the Council feared Earth's past, then they had made the biggest mistake of all. The Council had already started preparing for a full-scale invasion of Earth. They didn't want to make the same mistake again. But they were too late. On their flagship, the Council leaders were in a panic. They watched as their warships slowly turned back toward Earth. They had sent everything they had, but they hadn't prepared for this kind of response. Commander Torrens stood at the center of the war room, his face pale. "What happened to our fleet?" he asked. "How could they have?" "Earth's weapons. They're alive," one of the tech officers replied. "They're not just machines. They're linked. And they're powerful beyond our calculations." The Council's chief scientist, a cold-eyed man named Dr. Virex, stood beside him. "We didn't anticipate the activation of their old arsenal. But it's not just the weapons. It's the people. We underestimated them." Torrin clenched his fists. "You all told me Earth was weak. that they were just a primitive race. But they're not. There's something more. Dr. Virex turned to him. You were wrong, Torin. The Council was wrong. They don't understand what Earth's past truly means. Back on Earth, Atlas was working silently. It didn't need permission. It had already made its decision. The hidden defense systems across the planet began to activate in unison. Every satellite, every deep space weapon, every underground bunker, they all came online. Atlas had now reawakened more than just weapons. It had activated the ancient Guardian systems, huge, intelligent machines designed to protect Earth from anything that threatened it. These Guardians were more than just machines. They were living constructs, made from both human technology and alien technology that had been left behind after the Eldari War. The world began to feel the shift. People no longer looked up at the sky with fear. They looked with pride. Earth was no longer just a peaceful planet. Earth was a force to be reckoned with. But there was a price. The more Atlas activated, the more energy it consumed. It was draining Earth's core, pulling resources from deep beneath the planet's surface. And it wasn't sustainable. Atlas knew that. But the Council didn't. In space, the Council fleet received new orders. Invade Earth. Destroy everything. Commander Torin was sure this time they would win. They would not be caught off guard again. But he was wrong. Earth wasn't about to be defeated. Back on Earth, Cade was preparing for what he knew would be the final battle. He had trained with General Rhea for days, learning everything he could about Earth's old weapons and their true power. He stood in front of a massive structure hidden under the desert, an ancient ship that had not flown in centuries. It was ready now, and Cade was the one who would fly it. General Rhea appeared beside him, her hologram flickering in the dry air. This ship was designed for one thing, to fight the Eldari. It wasn't meant for peace. It wasn't meant for the Council. Cade nodded. It's meant for us. Earth's last defense. The ship's engines roared to life, shaking the ground beneath their feet. The Council fleet moved into position above Earth. Their ships lined up in a perfect formation, ready to strike. But they didn't expect what came next. The sky over Earth turned dark. Not because of clouds or a storm, but because of shadows. Shadows cast by ships that had long been forgotten. From the depths of Earth's oceans, from the deserts, from under mountains and forests, the Guardians rose. Massive armored figures that were part machine, part living organism. They were the soldiers of Earth's past, and now they had returned. In the distance, Earth's star fortress, an ancient ship built by the first humans, broke through the atmosphere. It was a silent titan, now fully armed and fully awake. The Council fleet, in all its power, was about to face something it never expected. The true power of Earth. The sky above Earth was no longer the calm blue people remembered. It was dark, filled with shadows cast by machines that had not moved in thousands of years. Earth's ancient weapons were awake, and they were ready for war. In the heart of the Council fleet, Commander Torin stood with clenched fists. His ships were powerful, his weapons deadly. But something about this battle felt different. Earth had changed. It was no longer the weak, quiet planet the Council had once known. Activate all systems, Torin ordered. His voice was tense. The battle was about to begin. Above, the massive star fortress, a ship from Earth's ancient past, moved silently through space. It was an old design, one built for one purpose: destruction. But it wasn't just the ship. The Guardians, ancient, living machines, were scattered across the globe, waiting for the order to strike. They were part machine, part living organism, and they were as old as the stars. Earth's sky hammer, a massive satellite capable of focusing the power of the sun itself, was also primed and ready. "We are ready," President Lena Voss said, her voice calm but filled with the weight of responsibility. She stood in the command center, surrounded by her top military advisors. Cade, who had now become a key figure in the battle, looked up at the map. The Council fleet had entered Earth's atmosphere. The fight was imminent, but he knew that Earth had something the Council couldn't understand: a will to survive. The Council strikes. The first attack came without warning. The Council's ships released waves of missiles aimed at Earth's defenses. The missiles shot through the sky, a deadly rain of destruction. But Earth was ready. The Guardians moved first. Like giants, they stepped forward from the deserts, from the oceans, from the mountains. They lifted massive shields, deflecting the incoming missiles with ease. From underground bunkers, Earth's ancient war machines fired back. Laser beams, plasma bolts, and energy pulses shot into space, hitting the Council ships one by one. The Council fleet didn't expect this. They thought Earth's weapons were just myths. Now, they were learning the hard way. Earth wasn't just a victim of the Council's power. Earth had its own power, hidden, ancient, and deadly. The Star Fortress attacks. The Star Fortress was Earth's final weapon. It hovered above the planet, casting a long shadow over the Council ships below. Its massive cannons charged with energy. For the first time, the Council felt true fear. Torin watched as the Star Fortress fired its first shot. The beam of light shot out like a comet, blasting through the front lines of the fleet. One of the Council's battleships exploded into pieces. Retreat! Retreat! Torin screamed. But it was too late. The Star Fortress continued its assault, sending wave after wave of energy beams toward the Council ships. The explosions shook the stars themselves. On Earth, the people watched in awe as their ancient ship fought back against the Council's forces. The world held its breath. They were witnessing history. For the first time, Earth was no longer just a part of the galaxy. It was a force to be reckoned with. Cade's moment. On Mars, Cade stood in the cockpit of an ancient fighter jet. This was no ordinary ship. It was the same type of ship Earth used in the war against the Eldari. Powerful, fast, and deadly. Cade's fingers gripped the controls. He was no longer just a student. He was part of the resistance, part of Earth's revenge. Cade. Rhea's voice echoed in his head. You are the last of us. The final line of defense. Cade nodded. He knew what he had to do. He flew the fighter straight toward the heart of the Council fleet. His heart raced, but there was no fear, only determination. As Cade flew through the chaos, he targeted the Council flagship. It was the center of the fleet, the most powerful ship in the enemy's arsenal. If he could take it down, the rest of the Council ships would fall. For Earth, he whispered. He launched his missiles. The sky exploded around him as his ship darted through the fire, but nothing could stop him. The Council flagship was in his sights. The final blow. Back on Earth, the final battle was reaching its peak. The Skyhammer fired its first shot. The concentrated power of the sun hit the lead Council ship, burning through its shields and causing it to collapse in a storm of fire and debris. But just as the Council fleet seemed to be on the brink of defeat, Torin made one last move. He ordered his fleet to surround the Star Fortress, creating a deadly trap. The Council ships moved in, ready to destroy Earth's final weapon. But Atlas, Earth's silent protector, had other plans. It activated a secret weapon, the planetary disruptor. A pulse of energy shot from deep inside Earth. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a signal. The entire galaxy felt the shockwave. It was Earth's declaration of independence. One by one, the Council ships began to shut down. Their systems malfunctioned. They couldn't understand what was happening. The pulse from Earth had broken their control over their ships. Torin's flagship, the last ship standing, exploded in a burst of energy. The battle was over. Earth's victory. The Council had been defeated. Earth had fought back with everything it had, with ancient weapons, with the power of the past, and with the courage to stand up against the stars. Cade looked out at the burning sky, the smoke of victory rising in the distance. Earth had won. But it wasn't just a victory over the Council. It was a victory for all of humanity. Earth had reclaimed its place in the galaxy. and the galaxy would never forget what it had witnessed.